Very often I get asked where to start when getting on a fitness journey. Do you build muscle first or do you go for fat loss? And so in this video, I want to share 3 strategies, at least that I use with my clients to get long-term gains. If you're new to this channel, my name is Mohale, where we cover all things hardstyle kettlebells, strength and conditioning. If you stay till the end, I have an announcement to make. So without further ado, let's jump in. Tip number 1, I'd suggest that you get strong. Getting strong is a very general term, I know, but there are certain principles that will get you gains in strength of movement versus all the other qualities. Strength is they call it the foundational quality, and it's like building a building on a flimsy foundation. You don't want to do that. You want something really deep, something really strong, so that you can build a skyscraper. And so strength training, I think some of the principles of strength training that people misunderstand is that you need as much rest in between sets when training for strength. That's the first point. Second point, when training for strength, go for your 60 to 80% of your 1 rep max. And if you can do 10 reps with a weight, do about 5 or 6 reps with that same weight. And instead of doing 3 sets of 10, you'd rather do 6 sets of 5. Okay, which is a very different way of training. It really gives the neurological adaptation, not to mention the structural adaptation. And in some time, what you find is that over time you start building from 6 sets to 8 sets to 10 sets, and so you keep under the lactic acid threshold, which allows you to do more sets without the burn, and the burn if you remove the burn from your training, you find that you can show up more often, and it just keeps you really young. So tip number 1, get strong, and there's methods to do that. I'll make some videos on that. Tip number 2, I would use ballistics. This is a kettlebell channel, so I'm partial to ballistics for fat loss. The strength training, I have to mention that it optimizes your hormones. When your hormones are optimal, the fat loss happens really effortlessly. And so by training anaerobically with a body that you have made strong already, and the strength component of this could take anything between 3 and 6 months. So you want to take your time there. You really want to build those joints, those tendons, while you're building that strength in the muscles and bone density and all of that great stuff that comes from strength training. So by the time you're doing ballistics or you're joining a class, a high intensity interval class, your body is really confident in its movements, and you're not really worried about getting hurt. Okay, so your hormones are up, and now you're going for something a little more challenging, that you're pushing through a lot of the workouts. Your rest periods are not that long now, but again, your confidence is high doing all of this stuff because you've already pre-loaded the strength in your physique. And then tip number 3 is I'll start postponing breakfast. I think an easy way to ease into this would be to start wherever you are, and then to start postponing by 30 minutes to an hour every single week thereafter. And remember, because we're not in a hurry for anything, we're still building a foundation. You might not find that you're dropping so much weight in this first period of the program. First thing you're doing, by the way, is building strength. And by focusing on the strength and focusing on the movement patterns and just getting yourself ready for the more intense stuff downstream, you really are setting yourself up, like I say, hormonally, neurologically, structurally. All of these things will be in a great place. So by the time you're actually fasting or incorporating a fasting protocol, you're in a good place. And all you have to do then becomes a mental thing about hunger and just how long you can actually stay hungry. And the one point that I actually want to mention about that is that your insulin sensitivity also comes into balance. What happens over time is that because we eat so often, and many times we're eating really sugary things, the insulin spikes are really drastic. And what happens is that our bodies stop responding to our own insulin, and we call that type 2 diabetes. So the fasting protocols can really start to adjust that. But if you are type 2 diabetic, I would first consult a doctor before I do any of the stuff I'm suggesting. Okay, just to recap quickly: get strong, do some high intensity intervals, and start postponing breakfast. Okay, now just to jump in, earlier in the video I said I would have something to mention to you, 2 announcements I'd like to make. Every Friday at 8:30, I have an Instagram live that I do. I love the questions coming in. It gives me a direction, at least, on where to focus when making these videos. And then the second announcement is that every 9 o'clock on Saturdays in the Norwood Park, I've got a free kettlebell workshop just to get everybody up to speed so our technique is right. There's nothing worse than, just doing wrong technique and powering through. And so, you know, if I can help us all just tweak our kettlebell practice and you know, get us in the right place, I think everybody will be better for it. Okay, my name is Chabo Mahale. If you're new to the channel, subscribe and like, and until next time, cheers.